Hello. It's Mumamo. It's your weekly Monday program where we sit around and talk about mutants and masterminds. The world's only superhero TTRPG. I don't know why. I'm not in charge. But I do have to ask, friends, can you hear me? Am I hearable? Yes. I think, Nate, you said Troy, but no other indication as to whether or not you can hear me. Oh, no. We've got some people. Well, good. You hear me. Good. Great. You know, today, heroes from hell, villains from heaven. What could it all possibly mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Paul.
Some John Constantine nonsense.
Right. Nate's here. Ear candy. Yes, I know, right? Hey, don't kill my character. Lurking while I get my headphones set up so I hear nothing. Devious, good to see you. King Snarf, wow. A thunderous headache, nausea, vomiting, and chills. Yikes. I hope you're feeling better. Paul, good to see you. Yes, hello, Claude. I see you, my friend. Everybody's here. All the folks are here. Clint's here. I'm scrolling back. Look at all these conversations. You folks start really, really early. But you know, we love it. And we love you. And you know who else we love? None other than Angelic Alex and Sinful Steve. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello. You even got us on the right sides.
I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. What are we talking about? What is this? You know, this subject was brought up by by Devious and King Snarf.
Right.
The two of them. Hey, Simon, good to see you, friend. Apuk is here too. A good mumamo unto thee.
Well, maybe Devious and King Snarf would like to expound upon, what it is they wanted us to talk about regarding this particular subject.
Well, we've come packed. We've come loaded. So I hope it matches. But yeah, so this was a subject brought up during our planning episode, on behalf of Devious and King Snarf. So, gentlemen, I hope, I might have cheated a little bit and talked to Devious, but King Snarf, I did chat with you. Tell me what you're hoping to get out of this subject while we sit around and act cool and wait for your reply. Sinful Steve is my next major NPC.
Hopefully, King Snarf can use his hero point for an immediate new recovery check.
That's right. The both of you get a hero point, and it's a real life hero point that you can use. Well, you can use it pretty much to do anything, honestly. You can get that witty retort that you didn't share in that conversation you had with that one person. You can rewrite your morning so that you don't forget to take the garbage out. You could basically, what else could you do? All kinds of stuff. You can't eat it. That's the one rule. We don't want you to eat it.
They're not edible.
Not edible.
Hearable, but not listenable. I do hope you're talking about us. Kingstar says, "Oh gosh, maybe talk about some of the weird angels." Okay, I like it.
Oh, there are a lot of weird angels. So
there are indeed, but yeah. So I love this stuff. Michael in chat is in chat right now. I love the discussion because it's this kind of reversal of scenario. It's the it's the let's start with a little bit of the heroes from hell notion, but I'm thinking of that big red demon dude.
Which one?
The big red one with the horns that are filed off.
Talk about Hellboy.
Hellboy. Yes,
classic example.
Yeah. What are some angels that are, villains from heaven?
Well, a classic example is one of the um, angels that is supposedly head of one of the great heavenly hosts was a prime antagonist in the early days of Grant Morrison's Justice League,
Oh,
and attempted to basically sort of stage a angelic invasion of Earth. I know because he was basically obviously a fallen angel
right.
at that point.
There is sort of this trope too of the angel coming down from heaven as a vengeful,
Hmm.
you know,
Well,
coming to
there
exact.
there was definitely a big shift. Obviously, the classic tropes were that angels and heavenly forces were all good, and the devils and demons and the infernal forces were all evil. But there was a big sort of shift, especially in the 80s, where the notion that heaven was sort of rigid and unbending and could be kind of cruel and vicious definitely came into play, and
Yeah.
the notion that the devils were rebellious, made them kind of punk and uh,
Yes.
sort of appealing
And
in that
impish.
regard.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Got it. Oh, so this is interesting. Okay, I guess I that is true. Ghost Rider.
Yep, classic demon hero.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, Devious wrote a couple articles. We'll talk about that in What's in the Tank.
yeah.
So what are we? So when we're looking at this sort of, how do you recommend the introduction of this trope? Like, is there room for both a hero from hell and a villain from heaven in the same, adventure encounter?
Sure, potentially.
Yeah, I would say definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The the fact that they are opposites, makes it a good potential clash that the heroes get caught in the middle of.
Right, right. The thing that is uncovered, some kind of, there's trouble, and then you find that you're caught in between the
Hmm.
good and evil, I guess, so to speak.
Right.
Interesting. Do we have any concerns at all about the religious nature of this stuff? Like, what kind of sensitivity should we have around that, you think?
It could be an issue, especially if you have particularly religious players, but it depends on how you're presenting the information, like most things in role playing games.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If it's meant to be sort of this pulp action sort of fantasy situation, usually you're not taking somebody's real religious beliefs into account when you're
Hmm.
working up these kinds of characters.
Yeah, it is definitely one of those areas to check in on. So far as that goes, it's a both a session zero topic and a pre-adventure design topic to say, hey, if I am going to introduce, angels and demons into this setting, do we have any concerns so far as that goes?
Yeah, absolutely. It feels to me like a pre-invite discussion, just to be
Hmm.
sure that that you're not offending or crossing any lines. And it's really at the end of the day, it's good to get that information out there because you just don't want to have that fight in the middle of that
Hmm.
conflict in the middle of this.
No,
I didn't know it was going to be that kind of angel, that sort of thing.
right.
Great suggestions. Phantom Stranger.
Yeah, there's DC did one book at one point where the creators told four different versions of the Phantom Stranger's origin rather than pin him down to one. And one of them is that he's a fallen angel, basically.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, and I do appreciate don't kill my characters, touch that. I don't put real world religion in games, but there can be, of
Hmm.
course, similarities.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
yeah, because demons and angels and all that stuff can be the shared sort of language, and it's not about getting too deep on religion, but talking about the
Right.
conflict amongst the angels, fallen or otherwise.
Mhm.
Who else? I also enjoyed the way
my
good.
favorite hellish protagonist is Etrigan, the rhyming
Oh,
demon from the
the
DC
demon.
comics.
Yeah.
The demon Etrigan.
The rhyming demon.
Yeah. Yeah, for the
Police
longest time, Etrigan has always spoken in rhyme, which is a great device for writers and a terrible one for game masters, unless you happen to be really, really good at extemporaneous rhyming.
Right. That is great. So do you deploy this rhyming demon, Alex, in your
I've used him as a pregen for a few events, which puts the burden of rhyming on the players, and that's always way better for me.
I like that. So people can opt in to the rhyme time.
Yeah, it's
That's
one of those
great.
things
Mhm.
like Zatanna speaking backwards, or Etrigan
Mhm.
rhyming, or Groot saying "I am Groot," where one player can really commit to the bit if they want to, but they don't have to.
Saying things backwards.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how
that's how
Zatanna
Zatanna's
casts
magic works.
spells.
Yeah, I just I could not do it. I would
Right.
definitely that'd be a challenge for me. Let's see, one RPG that plays with demons and angels is Nomine. Is it Nomine?
In
By
Nomine?
SJ Nomine. Oh,
Nomine.
Nomine. Yeah. In Nomine. I
Yeah.
see.
Yep. That's a classic Angels and Demons RPG. I've actually written some stuff for that.
Nice. Excellent. Well, yeah, so let's talk a little bit about story and a little bit about how to utilize these, kind of tropes to the best of their
hmm Well, I think that one of the first things, just like everything in, a superhero setting, to think about is the sort of cosmology of your setting and getting into what do angels and demons and all of that imply. You may want to at least give some thought to whether or not the fact that they're, are heavenly hosts of angels. Does that mean there is a heaven? Does that mean there is a monotheistic,
Mm,
singular, omnipotent, omniscient deity that created the angels and everything else, or are the angels and the demons or devils manifestations of something else? Say human faith or imagination or the
right.
depths of some alternate universe where all of the things that we believe in exist.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty rich field to kind of play in, and you think
Yeah.
about some of the classic characters or heroes that we know well, like Nightcrawler, who was kind of
hmm
pushed by he has the religious upbringing, and that's something that kind of
Yeah.
haunts him a bit. I
Yeah.
agree.
Obviously, encountering a real life angel is going to be a big deal for a player character who is religious. Who
Right.
is believes in a angelic faith.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you,
Yeah.
King Snarf. Alan Rickman did great
Yes.
in Dogma.
Yes.
Absolutely great. Sorry, Alex, you were gonna say?
Oh, I'm just agreeing about Metatron being a great demon or angel in Dogma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, super fun. Okay, and
Yep.
so that's
Yeah,
great. So the
King
contending
Snarf even
theory.
brings up the notion of, is it like the Asgardians
Oh yeah,
or like the Daemonites and the Cherubim from, Image Comics, where a lot of the human beliefs about angels and demons are actually all aliens.
sure. Yeah, yeah. There's also the what is it? Uh, it's the gods of gods and what is it of gods and men or gods and it's the one where the spirits of the gods, the deities are a
hmm
manifestation of the belief of humans. Like that.
Yep.
I'm trying to. Is
Mhm.
it? I can't remember what it is. But yeah, I really like that. Oh yeah, agreed. Yeah, Nightcrawler's backstory is
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a lot.
it's a
Yeah,
lot.
indeed.
That
Indeed.
too much. They do too much.
There's too much. Let me sum up. Yeah.
Yeah. SC Pilot says one could do a heroic Cerberus or Hellhound.
hmm
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
Actually,
Oh sure.
Cerberus is a good boy.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And okay, that's interesting. So you can sample from other beasts that they may use in their
Sure.
plots. What's the angel corollary to a hellhound?
Well, that's an interesting question because angels often don't have humanoid forms.
Yeah.
So whether or not an angel even looks human-like is a question. Are there, certainly there are like lion-like celestial beings and other, sphinxes and other sorts of things that might be associated with angels. Um, but you get a little more vagaries in that regard, in the fact that there aren't usually like angelic pets.
Yeah.
Have you
Right.
guys seen the cartoon All Dogs Go to Heaven? That's what angel
Oh, well,
dogs
there you
would
go.
Yeah.
Sure.
be. Charlie
Yes.
Barker is a hero.
Right. All dogs by definition. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at the the Bible's description of angels is pretty terrifying.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why when they show up, the first thing they say is "Be not afraid."
Right. We
Because
are
they're
hideous.
terrifying.
Yeah, they have like many wings and eyes, and they're
Mhm.
hybrids of all kinds of stuff. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, that's multiple faces, wings, and eyes,
Yep.
a variety of animal forms. Sure, okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was thinking too, Alex. We're no strangers to angels, and I'm thinking of what's his name? A little cherub,
Cupid?
Cupid. Yeah, he's an angel, isn't
Well,
he?
he's a little winged guy, not necessarily an angel.
He's not like cherubim. He's
He's
not like a.
he's technically a Roman god, but
But he
Oh,
wears the diaper and has the wings, so
and yeah, right, yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, I always kind of presumed as a template that it was just like, because that's what you see
Well,
is
that
sort of
is sort of a conflation of Renaissance art,
yeah.
which often depicted cherubs, or the evolution of cherubim, as tiny winged babies, and that then there's some of their depictions of Greek and Roman mythology. Cupid was sometimes depicted that way, and so the two sort of became associated with one another, but they're actually completely separate cultural mythologies.
Yeah, got it. Purgatory hamsters. Oh boy. Um,
not a
That sounds like
purgatory hamster.
that sounds like a great title for either a book or a band.
it does. It really
Purgatory
does.
hamsters.
SC Pilot brings up
It's a great animal for purgatory too, because they run on a wheel and don't get anywhere.
Right? Exactly.
right.
They'd be right at home.
Uh, Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel.
Not familiar.
Is Has
So
Been Hotel the
that's probably
one
why I
where
mentioned it.
there's some demons and they're kind of mean girls or something?
Has Been Hotel is a musical on Amazon
Oh.
where we follow a demonic protagonist as she is trying to open a hotel and trying to be a good person instead of running on the torment of the humans in hell.
Oh, well,
Right.
sure.
And there's a bunch of other characters that aren't necessarily in the same. They're the mean girls or whatever. They're
Yeah, I
cruel.
mean, there's a lot of they're very sarcastic and snide with each other because they
Yeah.
are from hell,
Sure.
but they're trying to be
Right.
good people.
Yeah. So not familiar, and I'll put it on my list of things to check out. But let's see. Many Middle Eastern and Asian cultures have divine beings that aren't angels, but have often
Yep.
been grouped with angels in fiction. Sure.
Yes, indeed. And it may well be that a lot of the choirs or orders of angels from ancient Christian and Jewish mythology are probably or could have been, Middle Eastern orders of deities or spirits at one point.
Interesting. Who was the cherub in Love is in the Arrow who ended up married to Bone Man?
Oh, I don't remember his name. I think
That's right.
it was like Derek or Mark or Gary. It
It's
was something very
Yeah,
very
pedestrian.
mundane.
Yeah, that's funny. That's where I remembered.
He had
The
tickets for Foreigner, and he couldn't get his boss to go with him, who he was
Right.
really in love with.
Yeah. Oh, The Good Place. That is David Bullock mentions The Good Place. Yeah.
Yes.
It's very fun. The Good Place is actually a really interesting trope,
Yeah.
that
It is.
an encounter that does sort of feel a little bit like Into the Idiot Box.
Yeah.
And
And you could definitely play around with that idea in your own game if you want to do the, like the odd scenario of, so the heroes all die and they end up in what they think is heaven, where they are then expected to justify their whole mortal existence until they figure out that they are not actually in heaven, but they are trapped in some hellish netherworld, and they are being tricked into giving away all of their secrets or revealing certain information or just simply being tormented. Uh,
right.
all of that.
Yeah, what I'm lost a comment that I thought was pretty Nate, yes, yeah, I'm certain, Nate, that's what you get for selling angel food cake in hell, I guess.
Right.
Um let's see. Where did I Oh yeah, I like this one too. Devious brings up as a thing that there
Hmm.
is this unified group of angels or even, demons or whatever that are up
Hmm.
to things that are hidden just under the surface, and they're
Sure. Sure.
looking like mundane, sort of normal
Well,
NPCs, but they're, a
like
network of
like
troublemakers.
all characters in your game, you want to give some thought to what motivates, angels and demons. Why are they here? What are they supposed to be doing? What is it they're after, or looking to achieve? And how does that create interesting conflicts
Yeah.
that you can play around with in your game?
Yeah, Hornetico brings up Helltaker. I'm not familiar with the video game, but all the
Hmm.
demons are dressed in aesthetically pleasing formal wear.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
Right?
why not?
Yeah, naturally.
Naturally. And as Claude says, who amongst us hasn't spent a weekend justifying our mortal existence?
Or a Monday at least, if nothing
At
else.
least, right?
I spent
Absolutely.
all of today trying to justify that.
Exactly right. Yeah, Michael in chat, that does I'm gonna check it out just because a couple people have mentioned it to me, but
Mm,
Has Been Hotel does sound like Gilmore Girls meets Mean
it's Mean
Girls.
Girls.
That's great. Has anyone played Shin Megami Tensei, where you can either side with Law or Heaven, Yahweh or
No,
Chaos, no, Lucifer, just go neutral and slaughter them
not
all
familiar.
for only humanity? Yeah, I'm not either. That sounds intense, though. Mr. Infamy is an
Hmm.
unequaled source of plot devices, and I love him with all my black heart, says Paul.
Yeah,
Thank you, Paul.
he's kind of our Lucifer big. I'm
Yep.
making deals, demon,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I've never successfully had a player character make a deal with him. Everybody's like, "No, I'm good. Miss me with that."
Right.
How funny. They're like, nope, not today, Satan.
It might just be
Yep.
me. It might be they're like, "No, we don't. No, we're not doing that. We know better."
Hmm.
Yes, your reputation precedes you.
Yep. Usually,
Uh,
in most of my campaigns, the people the players have a problem with are everybody else making deals with Mister Infamy.
that's great. So, all right. So we've got Mr. Infamy. Who are some other Mutants and Masterminds characters?
Well, we have the Hell Queen in Earth Prime, who is a classic sort of human character possessed by demonic forces, and has the classic hellish fire powers and other sorts of demonic abilities. Um, and Nightfire's powers are essentially, infernal in nature. Um, what other good uh, demon and angel characters do we have hanging around in Earth Prime? Um, we don't have a ton of angelic Earth Prime characters.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Um,
think of.
I want to say that there's uh, cathedral or something in Super Team Handbook. But Simon points out there's Brimstone and Apocalypse Set, who are also essentially infernally empowered characters. The Hell Rider, also I was going to say the Hell Rider is a ghost, not a demon, but he has a lot of the demonic qualities so far as it goes.
Yeah, we know about Nightfire. We've talked about Nightfire in the past.
Yeah, Nightfire is a terrible, terrible character.
Terrible. Yeah. John, good to see you, friend. Says the metaphor campaign setting had the Luciferian, a hero who traded his soul for arcane powers.
Indeed.
Nice. But I would love Hellrider 2 on Freedom City. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Hellhound from 2nd edition.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Devilman.
Yeah, that's not an Earth Prime character. But
I was going to say that might not be in our canon. Yeah.
No.
Red Lilith.
There's Devil Ray, but he's not possessed by a demon.
Yes.
Apocalyptic.
He's possessed by, eldritch elder gods instead.
So there was a great question here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, I was going to say King Snarf does point out there are stats for angels in Book of Magic for 2nd edition. That's correct.
Yeah.
Amongst all of the various supernatural beings.
Yeah, and David Bullock mentions or asks, is there a good evil angels plot that isn't fallen angel, God's experiment failed, and we're here to nuke it, or rigid order enforcement drone?
Well, I think that the easiest sort of evil angel plot, as far as that goes, is simply the very, very misguided angel.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming that angels are flawed and capable of making mistakes, then a really powerful being with the best of intentions, who has some mistaken ideas about what the best thing to do is, could be a real problem for the heroes.
Yeah, could causing a bunch of problems, and what would be fun is the unraveling what the intentions are to try to stop it, and if they're not doing it to hurt, but thinking that they're helping. Very interesting. Not possessed by a demon yet. Johnny Reb, who is the Confederate soldier's corpse.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to come back, right?
Oh, that old chestnut.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that old chestnut. Blaze and Satanis are twin fictional. Oh, in DC. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they were Superman characters for quite some time.
Well, Hexorcist.
Yep,
from Lockdown. Great name. The Hexorcist. I love it. Yeah, and I think King Star brings up a good point, is that angels can be antagonistic without being evil.
Absolutely
they're working on a different level of understanding of all the things, and what's good for them might not be good for mortals in the short term. Yeah.
Indeed.
I think that's one of the things Hellraiser does really well. John Constantine, the angels he deals with, a lot of them are not wrong, so to speak, as far as they're concerned, but they are doing things that are beyond our understanding of what is right and wrong.
Right. I mean, and oftentimes, at least depending on your interpretation, one of the hard things that heroes would face with angels is that they literally obey a higher power, and they're not really all that inclined to question their instructions. So an antagonistic angel might simply say, "I'm here to do this because I've been told to." And no is not an acceptable answer, so get out of my way. Or face the consequences, and there's no reasoning with that.
Yeah, what was that movie? Was it Michael, the movie with John Travolta? He was an angel, maybe, or something. I think it was Michael.
Think so. I think it was actually Michael. Now that you mention
yeah. That's sort of I don't think he did anything malicious. He was just kind of magic and did amazing things. And but that's kind of it doesn't really fit your breakdown there, David, which is, what's a good evil angel storyline that isn't the standard issue. That's really more the friendly angel guy who
Right.
is too perfect to live.
But even if you have friendly angel guy who's going around essentially granting wishes, or doing
Yeah.
things to make people happy, that can also really backfire in some cases.
Yeah, right? What happens when you get everything you wanted, what you think you wanted, you
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
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 SC Pilot mentions the notion of a half demon, half angel character, which is
Oh.
definitely a fun idea. What if the forbidden connection between those two forces creates a third, secret supernatural, um, and what are they like? Um, they could be
Yeah.
either hated and hunted by both sides, or they could be hugely valuable, sort of free agent who isn't really tied up in either side.
Yeah, that's a good, David Wallach says, Michael's a functionally
Yeah,
monkey's paw and legs. Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
right.
Well,
And you could definitely play around with that.
let's see, Christopher Walken as Gabriel, and the prophecy is pretty much the blueprint for evil authoritarian angel.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was a Tom Cruise where the devil popped up and was hanging out as an attorney, or
Oh yeah, Devil's Advocate.
I think it's Devil's Advocate. Yeah. Fangels. Okay. Yeah, because this does sort of dabble a bit in the realm of the Fae, right? I mean, is
hmm
there?
It
Yeah.
can. I mean, one of the great things about a lot of supernatural lore is that there's so much crossover, and so much of it is so vague. It can be whatever you want. There are certainly traditions and the like that believe that the Fae are fallen angels,
Yeah.
um, of one sort or another, um, and often the same about the jinn in the Middle East,
Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah.
or that they're beings of a similar order that just predate everything.
Hey,
Um,
Stan.
so there could definitely be some relationship as far as that goes.
Here's an interesting question from Devious. What about demonic contracts? How would either Steve or Alex do one of those in the context of a game? Alex, you usually just come with your contracts ready to just be signed by the players, right? You just kind of hand them
Well,
over.
naturally, yeah.
hmm
My notary fees are insane. Um,
Right.
but typically with a demonic compact like that, that's going to be sort of in the realm of PLX for me, where it's complication. The demon's able to provide anything they ask for. Um, and if they break it, the consequences aren't so much mechanical as they are plot driven, where
hmm
okay, you have angered this demonic being. Now they're going to send beings to come and get you, demonic bounty hunters and contract killers and the like. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with
yeah,
Alex that it's largely a plot device.
Interesting. So, Z Comics mentions, and hello, friend, good to see you. In the Sonic universe, there is a character called Silver. We're talking Sonic, like the Hedgehog.
I'm
yep.
guessing.
You have to let me know, friend. A real angel, sweetheart of a character who is from a doomed future, who comes back in time to stop the apocalypse, but is woefully mistaken.
Oh,
Yeah,
find
the,
angels everywhere.
yeah. Sonic gets a little deep in their lore. I did not realize that. I wonder if you take.
Oh, don't go down that rabbit hole.
You're like, don't go to the Sonic
Isn't
verse.
it more of a hedgehog hole at this point?
Right? Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Um,
Yeah, all the hedgehog holes is the problem with going down that hedgehog hole.
hmm
jeez. Michael. I love I love your contributions to chat. By an angel. Listen, if we're gonna go to all that work, do an episode of the Golden Girls before you do an episode of Touched by an
Touched
Angel.
by an angel, right?
Let's see. Keanu Reeves
David
was in
Bullock's offering a
Oh,
quart of slaw and
it
a
was
third born.
Keanu Reeves. Got you. Got it.
Oh, right.
I don't know why I thought it was Tom Cruise. Was he? He would go. I think he was in the Pelican Brief or something.
Yeah.
With yeah. I get my lawyer movies mixed up. TV Tropes calls The Bargain with Heaven. What's a bargain with heaven?
I don't know how TV Tropes defines it, but there certainly can be characters who are essentially working for heaven. There are plenty of comic book characters. Dead Man is a great example. Who basically die and get resurrected or reborn in some form, and a higher power essentially says, "Okay, now your job is," you know.
Right.
Um, there can certainly be an element to a heroic or villain origin to that. It can really make an interesting villain origin if a villain says that that's their origin, that they died and heaven sent them back to do something, and the heroes don't really have any proof one way or the other.
Right. Of which
You know.
door he came in through. Right. This is interesting. So, how would you manage or incorporate a player who wanted to play an angel or a demon in game?
Hmm.
We would have to do some backstory building to see exactly what that means.
Right.
Are they from the quote unquote real heaven and or hell? Are they, what is the order of things there? What is their role in the hierarchy from there? Are they still beholden to that organization, or have they fled in some means?
Hmm.
Just there's a lot of extra world building that goes into the campaign to accommodate that, which is great because it also builds player investment from that
Right.
end.
Right. I agree. I think that you want to give thought to how much that aspect of the character's background is going to influence or dominate the series, and it can vary all over the place. Um, you know, it could be as simple as a fallen angel character gets kicked out of heaven, and that's that. The gates of heaven are closed to them, and it's never mentioned again. They just have cool angelic powers and wings, and they're otherwise just a superhero. But it could also be that they are like this central figure in this giant prophecy, and it's hugely important to the whole series.
Right.
So you have to kind of figure out where that what works out best in terms of the character's story versus their screen time, and
Well, you think about some,
all of
yeah,
that.
exactly. And some of these stories can kind of suck the air out of the room. Like I think of Ilyana, Magic.
Hmm.
Like that was a very intense, long kind of situation that she was dealing with. It just seemed to that was all it was about.
Hmm.
I love Magic though. She's so
I do
great.
Yeah,
too.
she's a
She's
great character.
awesome. She's
Ma-
awesome. Yeah.
Magic is another one of those characters that, as we said earlier, her whole background is like, hey, comics, like,
Hey, that's exactly right.
mutant sorceress kidnapped by a demon and traveled through time to age her to a teenager while she met alternate dead versions of her loved ones.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And her brother's
Comic
gay.
books, Joe.
Right. I do want to mention Stan brings up I agree. I think maybe the best
Oh
devil.
yes, Tim Curry's The Darkness, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Really great. Such a good character. Tales of Arcana has playable hedgehogs. Legally, they count as two people. Okay. As was mentioned before with the Renaissance artist, there's a long history of people taking mythic, heathen, or pre-existing divine figures and plastering a religious
Hmm.
coat of paint on it. Sure. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. We haven't talked about Lucifer, the TV show, I don't believe.
No, we haven't.
This is
That's
No, but it's
it's,
great.
I mean,
it's
that's certainly
real
an
good.
example of a demonic protagonist,
Hmm.
as well as dealing with a lot of angels and fallen angels and what have you.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite genres too, which is a cop teamed up with a weird thing like Knight Rider or
Right.
Turner and Hooch or
Yep. The crime solving buddy movie where one of them is some supernatural thing.
I am a super big fan of Tara Strong. She's done the voices of so many
Mhm.
Teen Titans. She's in that. She's in
Yep.
Powerpuff Girls. She's of course, but she did the voice of Ilyana in the Marvel X-Men the animated series.
Oh, really? That's cool.
really?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah. Me either.
Let's see. Be careful of Hell of a Boss and Has-Been Hotel because there is so much cursing and shock factors. Okay, that's good to know.
Mhm. Fair enough.
Yeah, I see. Hell of a Boss is. I thought for a minute Hell of a Boss was a character in the but yeah, I'll have to check that. Is Hell of a Boss on Amazon?
I don't think it's come to Amazon
Don't
yet.
know.
I know it's on YouTube, but I think there's a series coming.
I
I could be
see.
wrong about that. I could be operating from the past.
Yeah. Let's see. This is an inversion of the deal with the devil trope, a
Mhm.
bargain with heaven.
Yep.
Can usually be distinguished from his more wicked sister trope by a certain key elements. Yeah. Are not evil, have no malicious intent. There are few, if any, negative repercussions to the character. They must perform some great noble deed. Got it. Yeah, that makes
Mhm.
sense. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Paul has a great point of the Hell's bounty hunter trope.
Oh,
is a, is
yeah.
a, is a great one where you're the badass from hell who's sent back to Earth to recapture escaped evil souls or demons or
Right.
what have you. That's always a classic sort of grim hero archetype.
Yeah, that's and oftentimes, when I think of you said grim and I immediately thought of like, death that appears with a cloak and the whole thing. And that
Hmm.
that could be an interesting player to kind of play in between,
Hmm.
the angel and the demon and
Death is often portrayed as some sort of neutral figure that's
yeah,
beyond both heaven and hell and doesn't really have to answer to either
right. Yeah.
as far as that goes.
Yeah,
So
they all defer.
right,
Yeah. Belasco.
yeah, that's the demon demon essentially who kidnapped Ileana. Although Belasco got his start as a mortal at one point. Again, comics, it's complicated.
I can see Cerebrus being a hell bounty hunter. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Cerberus would be a great sort of character. The literal hound of hell.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. On
um,
the scent. Right.
right?
Let's see. In my game, death is whoops. If only Tim Corey's horn. Yeah, they did have a little wobble to him, just a little bit.
Yeah, I had to sit pretty still
Yes,
most of the
exactly.
time.
Yeah. Death is a mousy little accountant type with a ledger. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
way to do it. Glover was
Yeah,
having
I
some
love day job death. Like
Right. Clocks in, like
all business.
gets his list of people to go after.
right.
Right.
Has his lunchbox.
I do not know this. Michael Landon in Highway
Mhm.
to Heaven.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that's basically the agent of heaven, sort of
Yeah.
story. And it often ties into the notion that in some versions of the cosmology, angels and demons were once mortal, and like a soul evolves or devolves to that status, and becomes either an angel or a demon over time.
Let's see. Kingstar says, "Oh, I just remembered there's a character named Snow Angel who's briefly mentioned in Red Teeth Sven's entry in Rogue's Gallery, but I have no idea if she's an actual angel."
Me either, offhand.
Right? Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
look.
Let me see real
She's his
quick.
coke dealer.
Right.
Right, yeah. Gene mentions like the Collector TV series. I don't know. I've seen it from 04 to 06, 2000.
Mhm.
One of the great depictions of the infernal in superhero
Yep.
fiction, of course, is him from Powerpuff Girls. Yeah,
Yes. Him.
absolutely.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking of. And is that Ibis, the Invincible?
Hmm.
Death is a guy who is so sick of dealing with Ibis. Oh, it's you, and proceeds to getting into a
Right.
fist fight because the Golden Age comics are awesome, right?
Yeah.
Not you again. Let's see. Someone would have mentioned him already. I think
Yeah, we
Spawn.
haven't talked about Spawn.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. What is Spawn's story?
Alex?
That's a long question.
Yeah, again, it's comics, but
Spawn is a soldier who goes to hell and comes back as a demon/devil to wage war against the forces of heaven and hell.
yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
The short version.
Pretty much.
well, he's got quite a chip on his shoulder.
And that
He's got
also
a really
is
cool cape.
that's also another common trope is the characters who have decided that both heaven and hell are the bad guys, and that they are just not having anything to do with their binary nonsense anymore. You get lots of cases of characters who are just like, yeah, like I'm not playing your game. You're
Right.
both a threat to humanity as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Oh, okay. Very interesting. There was a Fantasy Island remake.
Yes, there was. Not very long
Yep.
lasting one, but there was.
Smiles, everybody smile. Malcolm McDowell version of Mr. Rourke. So was he meant to be an angel? Is that what the
Yeah, they often implied that was supposedly Mr. Rourke's true nature, was that he was essentially some agent of heaven, so far as that went. But I don't know how much the remake made that more explicit.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Fantasy Island horror movie in 2020, but I don't know if it's related to the series.
How did they pull
No
off
idea.
Hervé Villechaize?
That I don't know either.
I'll have to check it out.
I know it existed, but I never saw it.
Make necroplasm more demonic by calling it hecroplasm.
Sure.
Wait, it is related to the series.
The movie?
Yeah, it's a
Hecroplasm?
horror film adaptation of the television series, described as a mix of Westworld and The Cabin in the Woods.
Well,
Oh,
okay then.
well, that's some choices.
I haven't seen it, but I remember wanting to see it, but it was the pandemic.
Right.
John
Well,
says,
there we have from John Pologic directly that Snow Angel is a divine being. So
there you go. You heard it here first.
right from the source.
Right from the source. Roddy McDowell played the devil in the original Fantasy Island.
Yes. Who was
Oh.
basically, Mr. Rourke in a black suit with a white tie.
I wonder, is there a place to watch old Fantasy Island? Because when I was a kid, I loved it, but I do not
Wouldn't be
remember
surprised
anything about it.
but I have no idea.
The most recent remake was Rourke's Niece. There's a third remake?
Apparently there were two, according to our chat.
That's so weird. Oh, I see. Okay. The remake made it pretty plain that people
Oh.
working at Fantasy Island were souls earning their reclamation by
redemption. Yep.
I get it. Oh, that's that could be a fun, yeah.
That's another heaven's bargain scenario, is that you're going to earn your redemption by being a hero and making up for all of the bad you've done.
And you can also turn that on its ear, and what you would presume is angels, doing a thing, and you can set up a whole, like, it's a perfect hotel, and they're doing all this, but they're really all just demons waiting for the moment to do whatever they're there to do. Let's see.
Yep.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, Roddy McDowell, he's
right.
Something else. Will you put the update Golden Age archetypes on Roll20? Some point, maybe.
We could definitely talk to the VTT team about that.
Yeah. We're going to be releasing a couple of those this week, as a matter of fact.
Right.
What?
Yeah, good for us. We're doing it. All right. I don't, so we sat here, we've talked about villains from heaven. We've talked about, heroes from hell. We've covered the tropes. We've invented some new ones. We've asked some questions and have forgotten the answers, and we had lots of conversation, and we could probably go for another hour, but it's 10 minutes left of this program, of this portion of the program, of course. So let's wrap it up. So like, what are some of the things that, like, what books of ours cover this stuff that, would provide some resource or inspiration for folks?
The Supernatural Handbook is a great place to look for 3E stuff.
Yeah.
As
Nice.
well as the Book of Magic 2E is another great resource for
Both good places
diving
to start.
into.
Very nice. I don't think we mentioned Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
I don't think we did. No.
You didn't get that deep into the Mortal Kombat lore, though. I remember really enjoying the song.
Mortal Kombat.
Right. Johnny Cage. Yeah. Let's see. Blue Devil Dan Cassidy was working as a stuntman in the special effect. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yep. Another classic comics origin of a stuntman with a devil, exoskeleton gets, infused by hellfire and becomes a sort of actual devil.
Got it.
Comics,
And
kids.
that's right. Comics. I love that. In many mythologies, hell is not eternal. It's a temporary thing.
Yep.
Yeah, to Pat Benatar, hell is for children.
Right.
So yeah,
Sometimes hell is other people.
that's right. That's right.
Really, a lot of the time.
Similar to DC's hell, you can leave anytime you want.
Not quite. You can leave anytime you feel you deserve to.
I see.
Which is actually the catch.
So that's great. You can come out of your hell room when you think you've learned your lesson.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, Paul seconds the Magic 2E as an amazing resource. Love that. All right, yeah. So we talked about where you can find some good stuff in our library of books. And then
John mentions some D&D lore that could be swiped. We actually have the Book of Fiends over here at
that's true.
that you could look to for inspiration if you're telling a really messed up M&M story.
Right. I was going to say some of that may not be suitable for some comic genres, but
but it is definitely
quite a resource. Yes,
it's quite a resource. It really is. It's so. I remember just going when I first. I think it was early on when I first started working with Green Ronin. Looked through the book and I was just like, "This is wild." It's great. It's great, but you want to have a strong stomach as you're flipping through. The stomach with a mouth and the other, appendages, and it's just wild. It's great. It's super fun. Now, didn't we have the opposite though, too? We have the Book of the Righteous.
Well, Book of the Righteous is more of a polytheistic, pantheon of deities, but there are angelic-like beings in their order, so you definitely could draw some inspiration from there. They won't be the classic sort of biblical angels, but definitely some relation.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. Don't kill my character. Always lovely to see you. Of course, that being Kate the Great. So we'll take one more question, and then we will close the door on this chapter of Mumamo. But Michael and Chet says, how do you scope out the power sets in M&M for divine and infernal magic?
We have we have an archetype in the Deluxe Heroes Handbook for supernatural creatures that includes infernal. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of divine and infernal magic, is largely a matter of style. It's primarily coming up with the descriptors that work for it and getting a sense of what the sort of limits are on it. For example, you may decide in your setting that the one thing infernal magic can't do is usurp someone's will, their free will. So therefore, mind control would be off the table for infernal magic. But divine magic likewise will often tend to be healing and protective. But there's plenty of divine smiting going on around, and blowing things up and blasting things. So again, it's just coming up with what you think is both the style, that works, and if there are any particular limits, that sound interesting.
Nice. Alex, do you want to add?
Yeah, like Steve said, a lot of it is vibes and descriptors, and you can grab lots of the ready-to-build archetypes just to slap the feeling onto it. Energy controller for the smiting angel we were talking about.
Yep.
Paragon, powerhouse, a lot of those.
Yeah, warrior makes
a lot of those fit.
Divine or infernal archetype.
All right, I'm gonna let you off the hook because SC Pilot is gonna keep mentioning it unless we do. I'm surprised no one, myself included, mentioned tiefling paladins.
Wrong game.
Yeah, different other.
We have neither tieflings nor paladins per se, although you could create them.
Sure, yeah absolutely.
You could start with the warrior archetype and sprinkle in some lay on hands powers and things like that. Or weapon master if you want to go more with swords and shields and things like that.
Right.
I don't know what to do. SC Pilot, I think you might be stuck on tiefling paladins.
Yeah. David Bullock mentions Meatloaf, and Meatloaf has come up in 2 combats this year for me.
That's right.
I assume you mean the musician and not the dish.
Yes.
Well,
yes, the musician.
I think I say the dish.
Sure.
Demonic. Yeah, tieflings can be a Thursday conversation. Sure, right. It can work in M&M as well. But
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Anything is possible.
Well, so listen, we are mere minutes before the end of this portion of our program, and then we will be moving on to what's in the tank. But Steve Kenson, what is going on in the Steve Kenson cinematic universe?
Gosh, nothing I can tell you about.
Right? A lot and nothing you can talk about.
Yeah, a lot and nothing I can talk about. I am gearing up for Pride Month.
Oh yeah.
I've got all sorts of stuff coming up, and I am going down to march with a group in Boston Pride next weekend. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. Very fun. I bet Boston Pride is a blast.
It really is. It is.
Yeah.
It's a pretty amazing event.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen like New York Pride, and I didn't even think about Boston. Boston must be off the hook. But yeah,
I did New York Pride for Stonewall 50 back in 2019.
Yeah,
but that was my one and only New York Pride.
Gotcha. Alex Thomas, what's going on in your world?
Origins is next week, so
yes,
face down, getting ready for all that. Also, I will be on. I'll be on Don't Kill My Character again. This month for their Pride episode. So I'm excited to come and run another game for them.
Yeah, it is called Pride of.
I don't know, and Kate's gonna be bad. I don't know.
No, I've got it here. It is. I just looked at it. But yeah,
I know, right, Stan? Origins is next week. I can't believe it. Gen Con is coming up rapidly.
I honestly, it's too rapid. Yeah, so today's the 9th, correct? So we've got the 11th.
Yeah.
Superhero Shenanigans starts at 3:30 on Wednesday. That's 3:30 Pacific. So do the math. And then again on the 18th. And yeah,
I'll be on the 25th.
You'll be on the 25th. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yep.
Exciting. Yeah, next week we talk about underwater adventures.
Yes. Well, Alex will. I'm not sure if I'm going to be
around
next week, but we'll see.
I'll be under the sea.
Thank you, Pride Monsters, Pride of Frankenstein. That's great. I love it. Yeah. So, oh, nice. That's a great power to have. I clicked on that comment accidentally. But gentlemen, thank you for hanging out. As always, what a blast.
Pleasure.
Really interesting stuff. And I've realized that I've got to somehow rewire my brain so that I don't think that it's Tom Cruise with the devil, and that it's and
I have
then
to rewatch a couple of movies.
I think so. I think I might have to. Yeah, there's just a whole like I need to figure out Fantasy Island again. There's a whole bunch of my childhood I
Right.
need to get rewired. But great conversation. Thank you again so much. Chat, of course, you want to stick around, but thank you for diving in with all your great suggestions and ideas. And don't forget to stop by the tank. And we should do some devilry, create some characters and drop them into the tank, which we are going to be talking about now, which is the what's in the tank section. But I'm going to let you guys go, and we're going to talk about what's happening in June. The Atomic Think Tank is a community resource developed by community in support of community for all of our games at Green Running. So you can find GMs, you can find other players, you can find answers, you can find events, and you can find good friends. And it's hopping, and big things are happening. We're doing all kinds of cool stuff, including this stuff. June is here. We're in the midst of it. We're up to our eyeballs in it. And it's been a fun month so far. I have a cold, so apologies if I sound a little, gargly and a little airheaded because I'm all hopped up on cough syrup. And it's unpleasant. But on Thursday, of course, we have Thursdage. That's at 2 p.m. Pacific. But then I bring it up because at 4 p.m. Pacific, it's office hours with me. Come get tanked with me. We hang out in a Zoom call, and it's just a blast. But now it's time to talk about what is in the tank. And we do that every Monday with one very special pal. And his name is Devious. Are you there, Devious? Hey, buddy. How are you?
What's going on?
I'm living the dream personally.
What? That's my line. You owe me 10 cents. I have it copyrighted.
All right, I'll send you.
All right, you've been sick, so I'll let you live the dream for a little while.
Thank you.
Don't get out of control.
I won't. So it's time for what's in the tank, and I do. It's one of my favorite times of the week.
Excellent. It's one of mine as well.
Yeah.
I look forward to it each and every week. I look forward to gathering together with my associates, Paul Rua, David Bollock, Stan the Man, Nate Robbins, Michael in chat, all these wonderful peeps who have joined us here.
Yeah.
How goes it, folks?
Answer us now. Answer now.
Answer now. Answer now. Okay, that's close enough. Yeah. Anyway, we've got a pretty nice week here in the tank. Let me do a little schmippity beppity.
Schmippity beppity boo.
That's right. It was in the tank June 8th, 2025. Pride Month continues. This is actually a 3D rendering I did of characters in one of my games. And they're there doing the Charlie's Angel pose because they could.
Yeah.
So there they are.
Love
anyway,
it.
What's in the tank? Well, it came from Reddit number 8, which gives little details on the triggered extra. It came from Reddit number 7, how to reasonably handle check required flaw.
Now, hold on a second. Now, if you folks are just brand new and you're listening, you're like, what are they talking about? What's in the tank? Well, the tank is theatomicthinktank.com. And Devious is reading from articles that he's written, submissions from the community. There'll be characters stat blocks. Excuse me. And it came from Reddit is a fun feature where you borrow a question from Reddit and then you answer it for them.
Essentially, yeah. Basically, if I answer something in Reddit, what I'll tend to do is I'll then go ahead and copy it over to the tank so it can be taken a look at. This one was about check required. Basically, the person had some questions about if at what point would it be abused, taking too much of a level, and different house rules you can implement to deal with it. Of course, you can always say no. You are the GM, you have that power, or you can roll with it and make sure to provide appropriate skill circumstance penalties as well, and also go into a couple of the possible house rules you can implement as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. And that's the kind of practical sort of advice and stuff that you can expect to find in the tank.
That's right. For this particular topic, I went into a history of demons and devils in DC Comics, and Claude reminded me that I left out one of my favorite devil type characters from DC Comics, and I'm kicking myself for it because I love that character. Blue Devil. Blue Devil is a stunt man that basically he's a guy who is a stunt man. He just wanted to have a job doing his thing, being a stunt man. He was in a like a devil suit for this gig in the job, but he kind of thwarted, I believe it was the summoning of another demon, and his name is Dan Cassidy. He's a special effects guy too. He kind of became permanently bonded to his devil-like exoskeleton suit because he really irritated a demon who was like, oh, it's like that. Okay, well then it's like that. So anyway, he's one of my favorites. It was really kind of a high-flying, fun, bouncy comic when it came out. Just I forgot the artist name, but very big fan of him. Claude, if you know who it is in the comments, go ahead and drop a a name for me. But I also love Etrigan. Etrigan is the rhyming demon. He switches places with Jason Blood, who's kind of a magic user, a mage, a thaumaturge, and in times of oh crap, it's hit the fan, I need to summon Etrigan. Oh goody, that rhymed. I didn't even intend to do that. Anyway, Trigon is the nasty, mean papa of Raven from the Teen Titans. Yeah, he's not very nice. In here, I've kind of gone over like who these characters are and kind of given some plot threads. We also, even though he's not a demon, I kind of mentioned John Constantine because he's all about the all up in demons business in DC. For Marvel, we have Mephisto, like the deal maker. David Hellstrom, son of Satan, dun dun dun. Ghost Rider, of course, because Ghost Rider. And here we have Spawn mentioned there in the link. There's also the Darkness, who's a hitman named Jackie Estacado, who suddenly inherited on his 21st birthday the powers of the Darkness. Dun dun dun. So, and
I'm with you, Stan, on this one. I like.
What do you say?
Someone inadvertently uses a real magical cursed item and they get transformed into a magical being of some kind.
Oh, there you go. But let's see. Also, I brought up the wrong one. Sorry. Oh, please. Thank you for holding. I did also a thing on, I called it The Devil You Say, Demons and Devils and Mutants Masterminds. Talking about different like legends of demonic pacts from ancient times and American folklore.
Oh, I love that as a resource. That's great.
Basically everything from the legend of Theophilus all the way up to American folklore. Robert Johnson sold his soul at the crossroads to play guitar. And that's kind of a common theme. The crossroads and whatnot is a common place.
I thought it was a fiddle made of gold.
No, that's a country western song, I believe. What is that guy's name? Help me out. Charlie Daniels. There we go. Charlie Daniels Band. The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Thank you.
Right.
All right. So basically also different ways to incorporate devils and whatnot into your game, powers and weaknesses of demons and devils.
Ooh, fun.
Basically just down the line. What's coming up here? Oh, also we had only two people, but I really like Jack Kellum's character, Tudor Rose. Tudor Rose is, I believe, an homage to Princess Diana, but she's a pacifist healer who makes peace, basically. And so you know that she's going to get into trouble and require people to come rescue her, because she's a pacifist and there are bad people. So, and then there's the Night League by Stars and Sprite. Matt Maybrave's having a little bit of vacation. He only put one in this week rather than the normal 57 that he normally does. God bless him. Him and it looks like the Steinbrewer and Chris Davies taking a little time off. It's well deserved. I assure you, those guys work hard.
Yeah, very much so.
Hard. Yeah. If you go into the Aegis files, you can just like, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh, they're so good about putting stuff in. What's in the news? What events are coming up this week? First of all, we got, of course, this Moo Mamo this Wednesday, June 11th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I believe it's about an hour off what it normally is. We've got Superhero Shenanigans. Kate was just in here. It's for Don't Kill My Character, and Claude is the GM there. Claude and RC Byler still neck and neck in the whole Sexiest GM Alive competition, working hard. Also, we've got Claude as his RPG talker, Mumemo Redux or Mumathu on Thursday, and what he does is he takes the topics from the Mumemo and kind of does his own riff on them, talks about those things, and it's definitely worth a watch. I would definitely check him out. I've already actually subscribed to his Twitch stream. And I'm not sad about it. It's well worth the money. Nice. Of course, right after he does his thing right before Thursdays, then you do Thursdays, and then afterwards we get Tanked with Troy.
That's right.
Office hours. It is such a great thing to come and talk with people who are like-minded, who love the games. And it's not just Mutants and Masterminds folks. It's Age folks talking about what they're doing.
Yeah.
The projects they got going on, like David Bollock's Markdown thing on the home brewery for Mutants and Masterminds products. And Duke talking about the Grad, the Green Ronin Atomic Assembly Discord channel. Just a great way to connect with the community at large, and I highly recommend checking it out.
I do as well, and it's a lot of fun. And you can come and lurk and hang out. You can also, if there's something like you have an idea, you can do that. Truth, Stan. I'll be tanked well and true. Come by and bring up some ideas. Let's have some fun with that. Speaking of ideas, I'm trying to find the thing that I want to talk about. Where is it, Nate?
Is that it?
No, but I mean, kind of. That is it. Yeah, this is the Golden Gravy Goblet Tournament of Champions. This is an idea that we are fully supporting. We are behind it 100%. It is basically, here it is. Step into the spotlight, heroes in the making. We're holding an open contest for players and storytellers to pitch their most compelling, creative, or downright wild superhero origin story to be used in the Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition TTRPG system by us, Green Ronin Publishing. Whether it's a tragic past, a cosmic accident, a government experiment gone wrong or right, this is your chance to shape the genesis of a future legend. Let your imagination spark a fire of creation. Well, contest overview. So the objective, submit a short pitch up to 600 words describing your original hero's origin story. This includes who they were before, how they gained their powers, and how they decided to become a hero or vigilante. Format, written submissions only. They'll be posted online for people to read and then chosen in an online tournament head-to-head matchup. Please keep it PG for mixed ages and beliefs. Suggestive insight include power themes, complications, and a sample of their personality or motto. Think of a tagline, even you want it to be memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So any genre is welcome. Gritty, funny, classic, weird, deeply emotional, as long as it fits into the M&M universe. Judging criteria, creativity, narrative strength, clarity of origin, and how well the pitch reflects themes common to superhero stories and usefulness in the M&M 3rd edition system. Love that. Yeah, so power levels, complications, motivations, and how easy and fun would this hero be to play with on a team? Excuse me. And how we're going to pick a winner? We're going to be host a reveal show, and then we're going to basically go through the bracket, and they'll be the ones to choose in the Atomic Think Tank community will be the ones to choose in a random head-to-head tournament bracket, double elimination format. We're hoping for at least 16 entries. If more are needed to make the brackets work, we might allow 2 entries per person, but right now we just want 1. Prizes will be amazing. The deadline is June 30th, right, Nate? Nate, you're so great. And so here's the deal. You're going to want to head on into the tank, and you're going to click on the link that I just dropped, I believe. And it will take you to that breakdown, read all the rules, get familiar. And then at the very bottom is the Golden Gravy Goblet Tournament of Champions submission form, where you will fill out your information, your details, and that gets transmitted. Gets transmitted to us, and then we start the magic. I'm really excited about it, Nate. It was such a phenomenal idea. Very, very happy to be able to bring such a fun idea to life. And so we will be we'll be exploring that. So get in there, friends. Make your one submission and go ahead.
I just wanted to also say, one of the things about the contest is we don't want art in it. We only want ideas. We want to make sure that any kind of artwork that you might include doesn't skew the judging process. It should just be straight ideas about it. So, and I see Paul's enthused about joining in.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. Good to hear.
Absolutely. So, and prizes they're yet to come, but they're going to be good ones.
Stan, I do like that. Buddy detectives who investigate culinary crimes, fish
and chips.
I love it.
I can't vote for that. I'm sorry. I'm allergic to seafood.
So get in the tank and do this immediately, and don't dilly-dally.
Do it.
Yeah. And so next time we get together, we'll talk about what the prizes are. No doubt they're going to be quite generous.
Yes.
In relatively speaking.
Yes.
Yeah. I think though, with that's all I've got. How about you, friend?
That's all I got.
Well,
Thank you. That's my weekly reward. Thank you.
It is. You get your little festive toot. Your festive tooting.
I gotta have my toot.
Can't get through my Monday without my toot.
That's right.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. We have a lot of fun on Mondays, and we hope you do too. If you've got some thoughts, ideas, questions, concerns, if you want some advice, maybe you got a rash and you need somebody to help you. We are not medical doctors, nor are we attorneys, but we will provide you with advice that will most likely get you injured or worse. And at the very least, taken to prison immediately. So send a note to letsplay@greenronin.com and tell us what's on your mind. And we will bring it up in a future episode, or we'll ignore it. One of the two.
Yeah, either way.
Either way, it'll be fun for us. And I think,
oh my God.
Yes.
Paul's Fish and Chips, the long-awaited Abe Vigoda, Eric Estrada buddy series.
Yes. Yeah, we were robbed. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we aren't doctors either, but we do practice brain surgery.
Right.
Well, we practice because you got it when you're not a doctor.
Right. I only conduct autopsies in my tool shed. So
nice. Very nice. Yes. What?
Martha, hand me the chainsaw.
All right. That'll be that. Everybody, thank you again for hanging out with us. We always have fun. And
absolutely. But
we'll
Troy, please get better.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I am getting better. I'm getting better.
Chicken soup. I'm telling you.
Yes, I have been chicken souping. I've also been ramen souping, which has been really good. But for now, we're going to skiddy-doodle out of here. Make sure you come back around, next Thursday. For Thursday, it'll be a great program. I guarantee it, or your money back. For now, we say goodbye.
Bye-bye.